Hello, hello. Welcome to the Balance to Excellence show with Dr. Judy Wright. Please like, comment, and share, and subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. Today, I have the pleasure, because I'm telling you, it's going to seem out of left field for some people, but I have the pleasure of being with Dr. Dominique Carson. Dr. Dominique Carson is an award-winning and globally recognized freelance journalist. She's a licensed massage practitioner. She is an orator and an author. And for over a decade, she has interviewed over 100 notable figures in popular culture, such as Tito Jackson. Oh, I need to know about that. Lotto, her, Coco Jones, Jacqueline Carr, John B., and more, including the great Patti LaBelle. She also collaborated with Brooklyn historian and journalist Susan Spellin and launched a 118-page journal on Lefferts Manor, a neighborhood in Brooklyn. Whoop, whoop. Carson also served as program and communications coordinator for Man Up Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization in Brooklyn. And while at the organization, she received a citation from the New York City Council and the It's My Park Award from the Partnership for Parks for community engagement in her hometown, East New York, Brooklyn. Her story has appeared in media outlets such as Sheen Magazine, Impact Magazine, Femi Magazine, Industry Times, and Forbes One, to name a few. Carson's overall goal is to facilitate people's lives with both her words and her hands. And so I am excited to talk to you, Dr. Carson. I when I heard that you were a massage practitioner and we met in Toronto and you were speaking, and I literally was like, how do you become an award-winning massage practitioner, licensed massage practitioner? But as I listened to more and more and more, I said, I'm a physician and she's an extension of me. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to ask you some things that I think are very important, because if it's one thing I like is a good massage, right? But I'm going to be honest. Let me just admit this right now to you. I never admitted to you, but I have said it in the past. When the pandemic happened, I had a massage package that was supposed to happen every month. Mm-hmm. And when it happened, I checked to find out how many packages I had, and it was over 20, which means I had not been going to it. This is part of it. There was no self-care happening.
Yeah.
Clearly. Right? Clearly. So that's just me just pouring it out out there. But what I'm interested to know, Dr. Carson, is how did you get here? Like, what made you decide? Because it seems so journalist, licensed massage practitioner.
Yes,
so
yes.
I want to know more about that journey.
Yes, it's very divergent.
Yeah.
My mother, my late grandmother, my cousins Hassan, God bless his soul, and my grandmother, my cousin Jacob, they always told me the craftsmanship of my hands. That they were powerful, that they were strong. For a woman that, very petite, that you are heavy-handed but sturdy. So the massage journey began. My mom and my pops, they took us to a spa called Serenity in Manhattan. My brother was an athlete at the time, played all kinds of sports, especially football at the time. And they wanted to do something different other than give us money and clothes and all that other stuff. They was like, how about we do something different for the kids? Let's show them self-care. Like, show them how to take care of their bodies. And when I got my massage, I was on a euphoria. I was like, oh my God. I said, Mommy, this is what you've been doing for years? Man, listen, I need to get on board. So I always thought that I was going to be the receiver. I never thought I was going to be the provider. Until one day, my grandmother again, God bless her soul, my lady E, Eloise Estelle Grant, I was massaging her one night because she had aches and pains from time to time from being a diabetic. And that's what she told me. She said, you're going to have a secondary career using your hands, and they're going to help people. I don't know what, I don't know when, I don't know how, but they're going to help people. And I was like, okay, yeah. She's like, you heard what I said. So anytime she said, you heard what I said, okay, grandma's not joking. Like, this is.
That's right.
So I wanted to make sure there wasn't no personal biases because, I was one of her special grandkids. So I was asking around friends from the neighborhood. I was asking my brother, my mother, and it was like, Dom, you got a talent. Like, you need to be doing something with these hands too. Like, I'm not telling you to give up on the journalism. We all know you the writer in our family, but you need to be doing something with. So I played around with it for years and years and years. And then it was like my side hustle in school if I wanted to pay for books. Until I realized that's a Class C felony, so we shouldn't even be doing that. So I stopped. So I stopped doing that. And I just said, you know what? Imagine if I'm licensed. Man, this could change everything. Because mind you, like I said, I graduated from college. I got a master's before I was even 24 years old. I'm interviewing all these people. I'm working these 9 to 5s that transfer my journalistic skills. But yet I felt unfulfilled. I felt like there was something else that I needed to be doing. And the massage realm came back again. And I was going on all these job interviews and they would say, you're underqualified, you're overqualified. I was like, what? Like, I'm 24, about to be 24 with a whole master's. I'm sorry. I can't lie about my age. I can't lie about my degree. So my grandfather, my father's father, gave me $100. And I was on a bus. I was on a B-83. And I said, well, what am I really going to do with this money? Because I knew it was going to get spent. Like, I knew it. And with that money, I applied to massage school. My mother thought it was bad timing. She's like, you just graduated with your master's. What are you doing? Like, I said, Mom, I'm going to do it. And she know me. Like, once I'm adamant about something, that's it. Like, you can't talk to me. Because I knew in my spirit that it was a now or never situation. And I applied.
So you
and I
had
got in.
$100 and said, I'm going to.
I
I'm going
did. I
to
did. I had $100 and I said, I'm going to apply. It took me 3.5 years to finish because I went part-time. I was still working full-time. I was commuting all the way from Brooklyn to Bayside, Queens, which is like towards the end of Queens going to Long Island.
Yes, it is.
Woo! 2 hours going, 2 hours coming home. No car. We talking the bus to the J train to the Q30. Wow. That was my life for 3.5 years, but I was dedicated and I was committed, and I finished my second to last semester. Like, the second to last semester was really well. I was kind of going through a lot of personal challenges at home and work, and thankfully I was able to finish it. I had a very good job, Metley Pharmacy. Shout out to Metley Pharmacy. They allowed me to do a 4-10 schedule, so I would work 4 days a week, 10 hours a day, plus Saturdays, so I could finish school on time. Yeah. And I had to take 2 tests. I had to take one for New York State and for nationals. That's how I'm able to massage outside of New York State with the NBLEX and New York State massage exam. I did all of that fresh out of school.
Wow.
And now I'm here 5 years later as a massage practitioner.
It's only been 5 years.
5 years.
So now, explain to me how we move from that, right, to be award winning. I need to understand.
I mean, we still in the field. Like, I've been freelancing for over a decade. I'm still in the field. But now, because of my love for massage and wellness, I'm able to pitch to other health related articles now and health related publications because of me having that massage license. And I have a greater appreciation for nursing. Like I tell people all the time, massage therapy is the extension of nursing. It really is. And when I was going to school in New York, you would think I was going to school to be a nurse. That's how intensive the massage therapy program was. It was very strenuous. It was like, oh my God, like I never had to study science at that capacity. Like I knew if I just did the intermediate version of studying science, I could get by. With massage therapy, you can't do that. Like people can tell you, I had coloring books, I had graphs, I had charts, like you name it. And I didn't do well the first semester of anatomy. I missed the points by 2 points. And this is the first time I really failed anything like that because I've always done well in school, especially science. And as long as I just worked, at least I had a B. But this was a grade I couldn't talk my way out of it. I had to take a class over. My mom was like, "All right, what you gonna do? You gonna sit here and we got to make a decision." My fiance at the time was saying the same thing. Like, what are you going to do? Because the woman I know, she gonna dust that off. She gonna take her time. She gonna do this. I think I had like 48 hours to cry. And
They gave
I
you
got a
that
stem.
long?
Yeah, 48 hours. Because I mean, I come from a family that's very strong with that. Like we don't wallow in that. Like we make a decision, you know.
Yep.
So I got a STEM grant, which I didn't have to pay for a summer's tuition for
Nice.
anatomy. So I was able to take it over, and I got a C plus. I was like, okay, I could stay in this program because at least you had to get is a C to stay in the massage program.
Okay.
My massage courses, I did very, very well. It was this anatomy. I'm like, oh my God, you freaking kidding me. So I said, okay, Dominique, if we're going to stay in this program, we got to get these science courses in order. So I did extensive tutoring. I started breaking down the etymology of words, all that I could think of. And then my anatomy 2 professor, he was excellent. His name was Scott Sherman. That man got me to a B, B minus. I was like, yes. By the time I finished my science courses, I was at an A because I had to change my perspective
You had to
about
change.
science.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Now I'm all acronyms. Now I'm acronyms. I'm
you
looking at
know
my
it all.
school.
Like the door got open.
Now I'm looking at everything. Like, but
You
at that
did.
time, starting out, and I was not happy. 2 points. I'm like 2 points. Like, lady, you couldn't find 2 points, and she felt bad. But by the time she felt bad, the grades were in. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been 5 years. So what has the
Yes.
journey been like over these 5 years?
Oh boy, it has been a blessing. It's been a roller coaster. As soon as I got licensed, I worked at one of the best spas in New York City, Bliss. And that was a blessing because they didn't take new therapists at all. So I come in, I speak to my spa director. His name was Sam Hunley. He is so cool, man. But at the time, the interview was kind of like very intimidating. Like he's like, I really don't hire new graduates. I said, but I had to prove to myself. And then with the practicum, the lead therapist at the time, Crystal, she was like, I'm telling you, Sam, we got to bring her in. There's something special about her hands. You would not think she's massaging fresh out of school. Like she said, my hands were seasoned, like maybe 4 years in. And this, I'm fresh out of massage school. So I had all my paperwork and everything. He said, I already know your license number. That's the beauty of online.
That's the
So
beauty
he
of being
called
licensed,
me.
girl. I already looked you up.
Yeah, he looked it up. I was like, oh man, okay. So he called me about 3, 4 days later and was like, we can offer you a position, 30 hours a week and working 5 days a week, six hours a day. And which that what people don't understand, like massage therapists don't work 30 hours. Those are like 20 hands-on hours. Like we have the 30 hours just for that the cleaning in and changing the sheets and everything. So I was like, that's perfect. That's good money. And I had to work my way up. And within 6 weeks into the company, I was at priority booking because I knew how to sell
Because of those hands, though. The
and the
hands that they
hands
were
too.
telling
Like
you
I knew
about.
how to sell and the craftsmanship of my hands. And he was like, he told my lead therapist at the time, he said, I'm glad that we hired her. And then the pandemic, which hurt my profession really, really bad.
Yeah.
All the spas, everything resorts were closed. I was newly engaged. I was in the process of moving to Virginia. It was a lot going on at that time. I wasn't even sure of the fate of the massage therapy profession. I even applied for a couple of city jobs in Virginia because I just didn't know. I even applied for the post office. I did well on the exam. I had an open house and everything. They never called me back. And I said, okay, maybe that's not where God want me to go. So maybe 3 months in, as I'm in Virginia, the spas open up, but now it's like strict protocols and everything. You gotta wear your mask and all of that. My spa director was like, "Can you come back to New York?" I was like, "No, that's not happening." Like I already settled my life at the time with my fiance at the time, and it was quite an adjustment. Like you move into another state, you really can't say goodbye to your family because everything is restricted, and you're not sure of your industry. But at the same time, like when we overcame that leap, I was still learning, I was still studying, I was still going to workshops just to keep it up. Because that's what I love about massage therapy is an ever evolving profession. You can't get too complacent. You get too comfortable. That's how you do repeat the same strokes. You take the same continuing education classes and you just become stagnant. That's not what I wanted to do. And I think I was just telling my mom this not too long ago. Writing is my artistry. It is always going to be my voice, but I believe in my heart that massage is my calling. And I didn't really understand until last year when I was received my global awards in massage, like the Global Recognition Award and then the Global Iconic Change Maker Award. These are heavy moves. You're not even 10 years in this profession when you're a lead massage therapist at a med spa in Virginia Beach and you haven't even worked at the industry in 5 years. You get the lead massage therapist in 2 years. So it just showed like my dedication, my punctuality, the feedback I was getting from clients. And I always tell people there's always exceptions to the rule. So I think I was just the exception to the rule.
I feel like you listened to what your grandmom had to say.
Mm-hmm. I did. I think she in the sky looking at me like that's my princess.
And then you listen to yourself because
Mm-hmm.
it's really easy not to listen. It's like you said, you said to your mother, and your mother was like, massage. All right? Like,
She said she knew that was all in the plan. She just thought it was bad timing. I'm like,
right?
mommy, like, no.
This when you're doing it? I can tell you right now, if I had told my mom, I'm going to be a massage. Mom,
I
man.
mean, I had to tell her at the time we still living at home, so it kind of makes sense. And she's like, "You sure you want to do this? Like, this is not the time." I said, "Mommy, I knew in my heart, like, if I didn't do it now, I wasn't gonna do it at all.
Yeah,
I just knew it. Like, I wasn't gonna do it because, mind you, at that time I was 26 years old. You gotta tell me I'm going back to school. So my career, like my education, looked funny. So I go from a bachelor's to a master's to an associate with a license. Look, usually it'd be the other way around. So it
right.
would kind of,
So it was like
but at the
this.
same time,
And what I love is that to the outside world, it looked like
mm-hmm,
this. You
yeah,
didn't let that scare you at
not
all
at all.
because that still felt like the right trajectory. Because now
Mm-hmm.
here we are, right? Did someone nominate you for the Global Award?
Yes,
Right?
each award. Yes,
Yes. So what looks like is going down here, what looks like it doesn't make sense to other people,
amen.
made sense to
I had
you.
family. I had family ridicule me. My mother just thought it was bad time, but I had a cousin, like an older cousin. I said, "You lucky. I respect my elders." Like, because it was kind of no, seriously, because I had a little base for her, and she's like, "Well, I thought you was a journalist, and now you're gonna be a massage therapist." And I kindly told her, "Who said I can't do both?" And she's like, "Well, I'm just trying to." I said, "It's not for you to understand." Once again, who said I can't do both? So she comes in, she talks to my mom, and my mother's like, "I keep telling y'all, don't sleep on my daughter. Don't let that quiet, chill personality fool you. She'll know how to check you, but still be respectful." And that same cousin didn't say anything. So now when I got my license and now I became a massage practitioner, is a whole different ball game. Mm-hmm. I was the gossip of the family at that time.
Did she
Mm-hmm.
ask you
But
for
when I became
massage?
licensed, it was a whole different situation.
Did she ask you for a
Yep.
massage after that? Yeah.
No. Got quiet though, silent.
I believe that that's the sign, and I tell people all the time, right? Here's the thing. what that shows is that before, let's say where you are now, like you're a lead massage practitioner, right? Before that, you were a leader, right? Because you had the sense of forethought to see, I can see the path. You may not be able to see the path. The path may look like it's going in the wrong direction to you, but it looks like it's going in the right direction to me. So already you were a leader. You had the sense of a leader. You had the movement of a leader to know that you had the $100 in your hands. $100 don't say school to me.
Yep.
Okay, $100 says school to you, right? $100 might say a restaurant to me,
Mm-hmm.
a movie, this, but a
A
hundred
whole bunch of
dollars says
stuff. A
school
hundred
to me.
dollars is somebody groceries. I'm just
Right? $100
saying.
saying groceries. Right. Right. So that's already the sense of a leader way back. And the fact that you were, even when you were in school, you were getting your master's, and here you are just before 24 with your master's. It was in journalism,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
It was in media studies, a master's of science in media studies.
Okay. So already you had that, and everybody saw it. For you to go into bliss, trust me, I've been to bliss. Not
Hello.
I've been to bliss.
I remember when I told my auntie Kim, and I love my auntie Kim even more. Being a cosmetologist for over 30 years, I had an understanding of the service industry.
Yes.
So I remember when I first got licensed, I said, Auntie, I'm getting ready to work at Bliss. She said, Bliss where? Bliss who? I said, Bliss the spa. She said, ooh, my baby about to make money. Fresh out of school, working at Bliss.
At bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For someone to say her hands are seasoned coming fresh out of school, right? Um, when we talk about the health field, a lot of it is hands-on work, and it's interaction. It's a relationship because those people have to trust you. Even more so, even more so when you're talking about, say, massage therapy. It could be you're massaging up hair, but a lot of times there's so much more that comes off. You really have to be okay because much like, and as a black woman, you understand, much like how we are very picky about who's going to be in our hair.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
You're going to be very
Amen to
picky
that.
about
Yes.
who's going to be your massage therapist because that person, you, we're not going to 20 different people and taking our clothes off and have people just touching on us. No, it becomes a relationship, and it becomes somebody that you have to trust that they're going to do what needs to be done based on what your need is at the time. So for some people like me, it usually tends to be more of, this is a thing that makes me feel good. But for some people, it's about, this is the thing that's going to make me feel well. So
Yes.
can you talk about that and that interaction that you have, and even what you impart as lead to those you're leading?
I had a good professor in college. Oh man, Miss Karen Nagel. Whatever is felt in your heart, it will be delivered in your hands. So whatever is going on in your personal life, you need to check it at the door. Because if you don't, it's going to show in your work. And the minute I got licensed, I made a vow. Whatever is going on in my personal life that's rough, complicated, strenuous, I don't bring it into the treatment room. And I've had some bad news right before a session. But it's like when I go in that treatment room, I'm a beast. Like I just put it all. because at that moment I care about my client's health. I care about my client's interaction. I care about my client's relief. You're part of a stress relief profession. And that's a form of intimacy. When somebody is on your table, bear everything, don't let it all out. Whether it's 60, 90, or 2 hours. That's a form of intimacy. And you'd be surprised what people tell you in their sessions. Some people like to go to sleep, but some people let it all out. Like massage therapy is a time for somebody to have their solo time. Is a time where they can vent about their issues, what's affecting them at home. It's their safe haven. So therefore, as a massage therapist or a massage practitioner, you have to make sure your heart is aligned. You have to make sure that you really in it for the right reasons. Like I tell people, massage therapy is a wellness athlete because you're using your body. That's physical, that's mental, that's emotional. So you're dealing with all kind of energy. Energy is not deleted. It's just transferred to another. It's just transferred. That's it. So what I just strive to do is just center myself and don't make sure I don't, participate in counter transference. Like I said, not bringing my personal issues to the door, especially for people that have chronic conditions, especially to my vets that deal with so much with their body, especially the wear and tear, the PTSD that they've done in the war. Like you want them to have a safe haven. It's that peace while addressing the issue. So that's come from pressure, composition, the environment, and you as the person have to be in line with them. And then your touch have to be comfortable with them too.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, massage is a wellness athlete. Did you come up with that? Because that's a bar.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
We are wellness athletes. Yes, we are.
That's a bar. But also, what I heard you say was you check stuff at the door and
Yes.
you make the area space so that they can start to check stuff at the door too. Like
Yes.
they really can start to let stuff
Yes.
out.
Yes.
And you make that a safe space for them.
Mm-hmm.
The other
And I
thing,
and as our relationship grows and there's a repertoire, I fill them in on what's going on with me too. But in order for me to do that, I had to build a relationship with my clients.
right,
Now, like my clients, like kind of know, like, all right, she getting ready to go to New York. All right, she ready to go to Canada. Like, what are you doing now? But we had
it's true.
time to build that. You
It's
know?
true. Yeah. The other thing, because I want to get into your leadership, but there's something that I want you to talk about. Because you just mentioned it. And when you spoke about this in Canada, right, it brought me to a space. You were talking about applying pressure, and I'll tell you what the space is that it brought to me that I never understood until it started to happen. You know, like I said, I love massage. Some people don't understand that because, like you said, they're like, how do you take your clothes off? And it's not about that.
Yeah.
It really isn't. Just like how I can
Yeah.
go into a space and take care of somebody, and you could have been in jail because I've worked in corrections, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, how do you do that? Because what I saw was patience. I didn't see whatever it is they did. That's not what I see. What I see are patience, right? When you were talking about applying pressure that day, it immediately, literally, just portaled me back years. My son is autistic. And one of the things he used to do when he was really little is sit behind me when I was sitting on the couch and pull me back. And at first, I didn't understand what was going on, right? But he was actually pulling me back to apply pressure on him. And, when I spoke to somebody about it, they were like, it provides him safety. So when you started talking about applying pressure and what that is, I was like, ooh, can you talk about that a little bit?
Wow. So prior to the conference, I didn't write nothing down. It just kind of just came. I wrote it down once I figured make a decision, but I was really thinking about what I should talk about as a leader. From my upbringing, what I saw, my mother was my leader. that I loved and that I admired. She's been an educator now 30 years. And I just loved how she took the stage. The classroom was her stage. She knew classroom management. She was empathetic. And that's my favorite thing for her was classroom management, because if you don't manage the classroom, how can you teach? And I would sit there and watch her teach from a little girl, from 9 years old. I would just sit there and watch her teach. So I knew that was all a part of me absorbing all of that information. So I thought about the things that I had to go through in my personal life, in my professional life. I was hit with every form of pressure that you can think of. Like I said, my grandparents, who I was talking about, I lost them such a critical time in my life. I lost one when I just graduated from college, and I lost the other one finishing grad school. 13 months. That's pressure in itself. I tell people that's the hardest thing thus far in my life that I had to deal with, especially to this day, especially in Canada. I thought about them even more, because those are the things that my grandfather, we talked about when I was a teenager, that I was going to be speaking overseas. Like, so when it's happening, it's like, wow. And, that loss was my fuel to do well and to be well. And that's when we talked about it in Canada. Are you a pipe or a diamond under pressure? Diamonds are made under pressure. How do you handle that pressure determines the outcome of your success. You can be that pipe and just let it burst because you exceeded the temperature that was affiliated in that climate. Or you could be the diamond that said, you know what, I'm going to use this as fuel. This is going to be my drive. This is going to allow me to flex my muscle. Like I said, life is going to hit you for the rest of your life in any shape of any shape of fashion. Especially if you're making decisions to better yourself, to advance yourself, it's going to hit your finances. It's going to hit your relationships. It's going to test your relationships. It's going to test your faith. And I say that from experience. I can say all this stuff from experience. My faith was tested when I lost my grandparents. It was like I was losing breath when I lost both of them, because it was such a critical piece of my life. Like, my mother raised me, yes. My grandparents was that reassurance, that those cheerleaders for me. Hell, one told me I was in the profession that I'm in now. And so for them not to have them, that's devastating. Everything else I tell people, I was hit with life. But 10 years later, it's still the hardest thing to deal with. And yet you got to keep moving. You got to keep pushing. So I'm always going to have, and I say this because you're always going to have moments that it's going to test you and drive you. But you have to trust that inner strength in you and your faith in God to get the job done. And that's what I've used pressure. And because of that speech I did in Canada, I have an acronym for pressure. It's persistently reshaping. Every struggle shades unstoppable resilience and endurance.
Mm, 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 mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Just, just dropping them. All right,
Yes.
just dropping them. I love that. I love that, and I love that. You get it honest. Like you said, you didn't even really come with this structured talk, but you got up there, right, and you applied it, using what you do on a
Mm-hmm.
regular basis. And
Yes,
what
I
it
deal
means
with
to
pressure on a
apply
regular basis. I was like, let
it.
me use what I know.
Exactly. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't. We were there. We heard a lot of different talks. I didn't write down anything. There's a lot of stuff that I forgot. I didn't forget that talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you can
I think everybody was saying pressure to me always.
you can see, that, some things just stick with you. And so thank you for that. Um, let's talk about the fact that it's been under 5 years. It's been 5 years. And you're a lead at a leading spa in Virginia. You left good old Brooklyn. Right?
Brooklyn, yes, I did. I made took a chance and moved to the Old Dominion state.
The Old Dominion State. You left Brooklyn, went to the Old Dominion State, and you left Bliss, or not really because pandemic. But that's a top notch place, and once you have that, straight out the box. Well, what is it about her that's straight out the box? Liz willing to take her. We're gonna have to take a look, right? So, there you are. You're now the lead. You know, we talked about you being an extension in healthcare, period. And I talk to physicians and nurses about prioritizing their health and finding balance. And a big part of that is self-care. A big part of that is wellness, from the physical aspect to the mental aspect to the emotional aspect. And I feel like people bring that all and bring it on the table. What is it that you're imparting to those you lead? Because I truly believe that when those who are taking care of others are well, then these others can be well. What is it that you may be imparting to those you lead, if anything, about their own wellness, their own health?
I think it's just my authenticity. I'm very transparent with my clients. I say anything I'm telling you, I tell myself. I said, if you can't get massages every month, you should be getting massages 3 to 4 times a year. The same way you get your oil changed is the same way you need to treat your body the same way. 3 to 4 times a year. And I call it, after the session, this is your post tranquility treatment. You have to think about that after your session. What are you doing after the massage is done? The massage is the stepping stone. What you do after the session, it's up to you. It's a two-way street. So the way I present it to my clients is that it's a partnership. You want me to rely on my touch to make you feel at ease. What you do with the information to continue it is up to you. Some have done it and some have not. But either way, they see like, okay, she's being authentic. I tell them about the hydration. I tell them about the stress levels. That has to be reduced because stress will kill you. It would not put you in a bad place. And I said, I have to tell myself that too, especially I work so hard and do so many other things and learning to balance now, even in my early 30s. Because at 20, in my 20s, I wanted to do everything. I was like, I want to do this and this and this. Now it's like I have to figure out projects that make sense across the board and let God use a discernment to see hey or nay to these assignments. Because I just came from a school like, don't nobody owe you anything. If you want something, you have to go for it. You have to change your priorities to match your opportunities, which is true. But like I said, in Canada, you can't pour from an empty cup because otherwise you're going to crash. And I think when I'm transparent and blunt with my clients and not trying to use a textbook formula, they gravitate to me and then they read book with me because I believe in it. Like I can't half step as a massage therapist with my touch and with my delivery.
So, to those therapists, like, do you have, as a lead, do you have therapists that are answering to you or report to you? So, to those, like, what do you impart to them, right? Because similar to how you say, I don't, it gets left at the door. Like, what are you imparting to them about their wellness and how they, how they approach? Because everybody's gonna they have to do it their way, understandable. But like, when you're trying to lead, what kind of thing that you impart to them that can benefit them, and about them and their wellness, right? Because if they're well, I believe that's how they can help other people be well. So, like, what kind of things do you impart to them as a leader?
And that can be a challenge sometimes, especially when you have therapists that's been in the industry longer than you, and some of
Hmm.
them are just stuck in their ways. And I'm like, okay, you stuck in your ways. You see how you get there. If you don't listen to my feedback, that's on you. I tell you once or twice. I'm Ray Charles' mother. I may tell you once. I may tell you twice. Third time is on you because I'm not going to babysit adult massage therapists. I'm not doing it, especially if you've been in this industry longer than me. But at the same time, you should be open to learning something from me. I understand how you handle your self cares on you, but remind yourself that this is a service industry. So you have to be mindful that this is a service that you're providing. And then you have to check your ego and your attitude at the door. We all gonna have bad days. I even had them. And I had to be professional at all times. Because this is what I love to do, but yet at the same time, this is how I make my living. This is how I put my food on the table. So you got to choose your battles, and that's what I simply come to them. I was like, look, this is a job we do. This is a service. We all about wellness. We're all about tranquility, and then the post stuff we have to do as employees, the soap notes, the paperwork. That's important as well, because if somebody comes to you and say, hey, I had, this kind of service, you have the paperwork and you have the evidence to say, I worked on this person on this day. We focus on this, we focus on that. Especially we are a med spa in Virginia Beach. I stress that so much because that's a liability issue for the business and for the owners. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Does do you, or maybe the med spa, do they ever do anything for the employees in terms
Yes.
of dealing with wellness and stuff like that for the
Mm-hmm.
employees themselves?
We get our massages as well. Every chance that we can get, we get our massages. It come with tea. So all the different type of teas is like over 100 teas in the spa. So they customize teas based on what we're feeling, based on the conditions that we have. The owners has those staff appreciation parties for us as well, holiday parties as well, allowing us to take the time off when needed. So because the esthetician, the owner is an esthetician, so she came from that massage envy where you're just a number and it's fast paced. So when she created the spa 13 years ago, she wanted to do something different, and she really believes in that work life balance. Especially if you're doing what you're supposed to do, I don't have no beef with you. As long as you do what you're supposed to do and you want this time off, take the time off.
That's wonderful, right? Because I think what we find is that a lot of the people that's out here trying to keep people healthy are not being kept healthy, right? They're in fields who along the way forgot that they have to be healthy too, right? So it's important that these employees that are imparting self-care to people, but wellness, a safe space, also be encouraged to do the same. Yeah, I think that
And I say self care is not selfish. You're basically saying it's me too.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely to prioritize that and not forget yourself. A lot of people forget themselves.
Mm-hmm. And
So
it's human because massage therapists we massage some people so much that hey we forget about us too. So I'm up for my massage coming up next week, and it's been a
it's
while since I had mine, so I already know my body's gonna get a good in there. But I get it, but it's much needed. I love rest. That's sleeping is one of that. It's part of my rest. I love outdoors. I love comedy. I love boxing. Boxing has
ah
helped me with my biometrics. Yes. Helps me with my stance. It helps me with my form. Yes.
Now listen to all of that stuff. Now I'm gonna look at my massage therapist a little differently because now we're sitting here talking about our form. Like, how do we? Wait a minute.
Hello.
You know,
Yes. That's the athlete part. That's the athlete part
yes,
of it.
yes. Oh, I'm gonna look
Hmm.
at this a little differently. Okay, people.
My mother don't play. Like my mother's like, you should never told me this information because now when I go in session, I'm gonna be looking at you like, how's your form? Are you using your form? How's your posture? Like, are you asking me for water after my session? Like, she said you should have never said that to me.
Oh my goodness. So, what's on the horizon? Because what I see about you, what I saw about then, and I see about you now, is you have vision. What's on the horizon for Doctor Dominique?
Oh boy, a lot of things are coming up. I'm definitely speaking to Africa. this
Ooh,
year with my some of
nice.
my book club family. Y'all saw us in Canada. Some of us is going to Ghana. We're going to be
Very
speaking
nice.
at the Cape Coast Castle, so I'm excited about that. We getting our collaboration book on that. We starting to get our sponsorships for people to contribute to the Ghana trip. I also have my massage therapy book coming out in the fall. It's called Tribe. The acronym Tribe stands for Touch Requires Integrity and Beauty Effortlessly. So it's going to be a coloring book to introduce the gentle importance of touch to children and families. So people can pre-order the massage coloring book now. They can also have a portrait or a special cartoon character in the coloring book as well. They can send me a message for information and pricing. And then my next solo book is called Tribe. That's going to be coming out in 2025.
Very nice. Very nice. I love it. And we're going to have down your information, but how can people reach out to you, Dr. Dominique?
Wow, so my website is still being constructed, so I'm just going to say the link tree for now. So it's my link tree /DOM0922. That's DOM0922. That's all my social media information. That's all my me being featured in the press, and pre-order any of my books, especially the massage therapy coloring book that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm already on it. Wait, I can get a portrait and look.
Yes. And I'm telling you, please, Dr. Judy, please spread the word. Like, yes, you can get a yes, please spread it to all the people in the medical. We trying to fill those slots as soon as possible. So yes, so that's more information about prices, and you can send me a message for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Dominique, it's been our pleasure. I'm telling you, I learned things in Canada. I learned things tonight. I feel bad for the next massage therapist because I'm really going to be looking at their form. I'm not playing games. And are you? I don't even like hard massages, but I'll be like, let's see if you getting in there right. Getting, you know,
Mm-hmm. Your stance will determine that. Like your stance and your touch will determine that.
yes,
Yes.
yes. So I feel bad for them. I'm gonna tell them blame Dr. Dawn, blame her.
No, but I tell you, I had another girlfriend of mine. She's like, you should never told me that because I even had to end the session. I said, what? She said, no, this wasn't gonna work. No, and they're like, how do you know? My girlfriend is a massage therapist.
There you
You want
go.
me to call her? I was like, no.
Yes,
I said,
yes.
you can't be doing that. Like,
It happens to me too. So I know what you're feeling because people say, my friend's a doctor. So that's what I'm going to I'm be like, my new friend, she's a massage therapist. You're not doing this right. You might need to change your stance
oh
before you touch me again. Let's, you know.
man.
But it has been an absolute pleasure. And
Thank
please,
you.
everyone, reach out to Dr. Dom, and we will have her information down below. Again, thank you so much for being here at the Balance to Excellence show. You can like, subscribe, share, leave comments here on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. And we look forward to talking to you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.